The problem when it came to Iraq, and I would agree with Dr. Burke this morning, frankly, when it comes to the weapons of mass destruction, I give the President at least an even break on that one. When it came to the second proof, which was used, which was a tie between Saddam Hussein and Al-Qaeda, that was manufactured in the Pentagon by Doug Feith and his people, the Office of Special Programs. There was absolutely no evidence to indicate that that even existed, but they thought it would sell, and it was used as a second argument for it. But when it came down to trying to decide what to do, Rumsfeld made the decision early on, I'm going to prove Colin Powell's wrong. We don't need this Powell doctrine of overwhelming force, 500,000 troops. I asked General Zinni, who was Tommy Frank's predecessor as the commander of the Sing Cent, what he thought was a maximum number, the minimum number of soldiers that they needed in order if they had to win against Iraq. He said 385,000. We went with 140,000. The reason we went with 140,000 was that Tommy Franks did not show an awful lot of courage. What he did is allowed himself to be beaten down by Rumsfeld. We went with 140,000. And then when we had the division come back down from Turkey, Rumsfeld sent them home. Rumsfeld got to the point of getting involved in one of these incredibly complex documents that when you go to war, says where every soldier's going to go, when he's going to be there, what time it leaves, and everything else, and Rumsfeld started fiddling with it. If you want to know the main reason for Abu Ghraib, it was that Rumsfeld vetoed sending the MP division over. And so what you had were basically reservists from West Virginia who were not trained to handle something like that. Instead of sending in people from the correctional world, the world of the military police. This kind of a thing happened right on down the line until finally Rumsfeld, as we know, was removed right after the election. Twice the question came up, Abu Ghraib, he has submitted his resignation. And again, Andy Card said, Mr. President, we've got to get him out of there. No, he's doing a great job. The President's inability to stand up and say, we've had enough, this person is simply not making it anymore, really hurt him. And it really hurt the United States, and it really hurt an awful lot of people. Because had they been listened to, first of all, we would not have had an Iraq. But second of all, if we had done an Iraq, the military would have done it, and done it in a way that they wanted to do. General Shinseki, who received some of the poorest treatment of any military officer, the first Japanese American, to become Chief of Staff of the Army. He testified on the Hill and was asked, how many troops do you need? And he said his answer was, well, at least several 100,000. To which Wolfowitz said that's widely off the mark, and the Secretary of Defense said the same thing. It was the worst public dismissal of a military officer's advice since MacArthur. No military officer had been disgraced like that since then. I could go on and on and on, and I'd be happy to talk about that, but I don't want to take the time from other things. But when you go through the thing and find out the things that Rumsfeld did by cutting out the military in many ways, or taking Dick Myers along with him, or Pace along with him, and it was sort of like having the Amen chorus, because whatever he said, they said too. The one difference being when Myers stood up to the President over Abu Ghraib and said, no, this is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. We should not be. We're putting American soldiers' lives in jeopardy. But beyond that, in almost no case did the people that he appointed, in fact, we had generals resigning because of seeing what was happening and seeing the data being manipulated. And then we had 6 generals in the first part of 2006 who went public, which is something that normally does not happen. And when that happens, there's smoke, and you have to ask yourself why. And the reason why was pretty clear. When the President chose Gates, who I've known for many years, the whole thing changed. Again, it was because he was dependent upon who he went. Gates was a very open person. When Mike Mullen was interviewed by Gates for the chairman's job, Mullen said, look, one thing very clear, I tell the President what I think. And Gates said, fine. And Gates there was a debate between Fallon and Petraeus in front of the President. Remember, Admiral Fallon was the one who was fired after the Esquire article. but they would both totally disagreed on the thing, and the debate was carried on in front of the president. The same thing happened in front of Congress, where Mullen and Gates have had differences of opinion, and they've stated it openly. Again, when you have this kind of a form of leadership, you're dependent on whoever you got. When it came to Rumsfeld, he lost. When it came to Gates, he won. And let me stop by that so we don't have too much time.